Alright, welcome back to the first Wrenchlife of the year, and in this program, or in this kind of episode, what I'm looking to do is actually go back and review what we've done to the Little Green Bastard. So the Little Green Bastard is that's the Haze of Thunder race tractor, the Green Grenade, the Thunder Bastard. This is the one that we built in 2 weeks, but obviously if you're trying to build something with so many different systems and as complex as a racing tractor, you kind of need a bit of time to kind of build, test, refine, all that good stuff. And we never really got that chance because we were doing it in 2 weeks. So what's happened since the races, we've basically hacked the thing apart. We've noted down all the things that were wrong with it in a race, and we've kind of went through a process of improvement and kind of just fixed all these little niggling issues. And you know, with all the other projects and things like that we've had on, it has took a bit of time, but we're now at a pretty exciting stage where it's actually all together now, and we can start that process again, driving it, hacking it about in fields, and kind of wrecking it again, and finding out where its new limits are. So what we're going to see in this video now is just kind of like a load of clips from over the last couple of months as the thing's been in various states of kind of disassembly and hacked upness, and kind of give you an idea of what it is that we've done to it over this time. And at the end of the video, we'll show you it all together, and then obviously keep an eye out over the next couple of weeks and months as we kind of give this thing a good old thrashing, like. So yeah, enjoy. So this is it. It's back in pieces again, but it's stripped back down to basically the bare chassis. And we're trying to overcome a couple of problems that we had with it. The first one was the understeer. So the thing understeered like crazy, and that was kind of a combination of a couple of different elements. So one of them was the Ackerman, which is, as you're looking at it from above, and it's hard to see with this fisheye lens, but as you turn the wheels, the inside wheel should always turn that bit more than the outside wheel. And with the previous setup, it wasn't really doing that. It was steering quite parallel, and what it means is as you're going around a corner, one wheel will always have to slip in order for the other one to grip. So you essentially you're losing traction. So we fixed that there partially. Now there's still a bit more to take out of it, but by taking this pivot that the bell crank rotates on. Now the pivot was out here, and I believe that was causing me some issues, so we moved it back into the center. And then what we've also had to do with this pivot is had to make a notch in the top of the chassis. So you see this piece now that sits down and across and up, that's to get this bolt to sit flush with the top of the axle. But other than that there, we just had to kind of insert a piece of tubing down through it with 2 bushes, top and bottom, and a bit of adjustment to that there bell crank the way we did it. Then the drag link's been made shorter, and the steering column arrangement stayed exactly the same. Alright, so the other issue that was giving us problems with regards to the understeer was the engine position. So this wasn't the engine that's in it, but it's pretty representative of the problem. The block kind of sits underneath this fan housing, and then on this side is where you have the cylinder and the head. So there's quite a lot of weight there. So the weight of the engine, its center of balance is somewhere over here. If you translate that over to the tractor, the center of balance is right on top of the front axle. So you have a load of weight kind of concentrated over the front axle, and then with the driver sitting here, you have a load of weight here. And as we found out from the Bastard, it's actually better to have those two heavy masses of weight, the engine and the driver, which are the 2 heaviest parts of one of these things, kind of as close together as you can. That way you allow the thing to pivot around that kind of center of balance a bit better, so it'll turn a lot sharper. So what we're kind of trying to do with this is take the engine and flip around 180. So this fan will still be in the same place, but the cylinder will now be in there. So in order to aid that, we've took the whole fuel tank out, and then there was the battery and a starter and a load of other stuff that needs to now be rehomed. But basically that's all been hacked out, ready for the the head of the engine to go in, and it doesn't actually go in too far. It's only in about as far as this, so there's still plenty of room in here. What I've done there is started off the frame to strengthen that. There's now a box frame in there which should brace that whole tower assembly. Alright, here it is now with the engine in place. It's not bolted in, but it's just sitting there. And you see before, the head, which is this section here, the head and cylinder, used to be sitting out here, hanging right out over the front. So the centre of balance was about here for the engine. Now it's somewhere about here, so moved it the guts of a foot backwards, which should help with things. In there we've got the little fuel tank. So before there was another fuel tank in here, but it sat out about here, so that wasn't really going to work. So we've got the smaller fuel tank. It doesn't really need a lot of fuel, and it's short races, like it doesn't really drink that much, so small fuel tank like that there should do the job. It's in place, and also the steer shaft's put back in place. There is, I can get my whole hand in there really, like there's a load of space in there. It's actually a bit close to the fuel tank, but we can move that there again. So and then the other thing that's been added to the engine, there's not really a lot done to the engine, but I've added this, which is a little simple tachometer and hour reader. So basically that's just to let me know whether or not I'm going to blow it up. We tried it out, we've matched it up with a spirometer. It is fairly accurate. Right, so today we're addressing one of the issues that was probably one of the main contributors to all the belts that got shredded in this thing. So it's the pulleys. Now this is the old pulley, and it's hard to see there, but it's really only got about a 4-inch diameter, 3.5 max, you know, inside it. So we've swapped that out with this one here. It's about a 210 OD, and it's also for a B section belt. Now this one was used with an A section belt, and it just annihilated itself. So we swapped it out for this boy here, aluminium. It saves a bit of rotating mass, but the main reason for choosing the aluminium is that it apparently grips a little bit harder on the belt. And then moving to the back, we've got this one here, which is a 5-inch. There's the one that come off it. Again, most of the diameter of that one there is just kind of like a flange at the end. So it really is only about a 2.5 inch internal diameter. Whereas these ones here, they have a bit more meat to them. It's hard to see. So the two of those should sort things out a bit more. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, the T-drive has been moved from here up to there, so that the tension side of the belt runs along here, giving a little bit more space in here for the clutch. So that there is what's went on it. Also there was a couple of cutouts in the chassis here. They've been welded up, so to give a bit more strength to the whole nerf bar setup, but also to the chassis here to stop it flexing so much at the front. We've also added this little brace, which is onto the brake pedal mount, which was flexing like crazy. And then in addition, this plate here did come back to there, but we've just removed it all together. A couple of reasons. The first bit didn't seem to be doing anything. We can now get in to tighten the bolts for the engine mount, and then more importantly, there's now a source of cold air for the head of the engine, which is now in here. Yeah. Then at the front you can see the bell crank now just mounts in there. This pulley has to go further in. I haven't pushed it the whole way in just yet. And then that should give space for the track rod. So it should all be pretty close looking like, but we'll get it done. Try this with the chest cam now. So today's main job is we're going to try and sort out the new style clutch on the little green bastard. The T-drive, which sits in here, has actually been shifted across to this side, and the reasoning behind that is But when the engine's spinning, I see now, it spins that way. So counterclockwise is we're looking at it. And so this part of the belt here is actually the piece that's in tension. So it pulls tight. And then this is your kind of your slack side. So this is the side that we put the clutch on, so the twist clutch. So this is the old twist clutch here, and it would have went in something kind of like that there. It doesn't actually fit now because it's for an A section belt, but you know, by twisting it like that, it pulled that like that there, which tensions the whole belt. So by taking this T-drive off to the right hand side, as we're looking at it here, we create more space in there for the clutch assembly. So that is one of the jobs, and then the other one is up here along the straight section. I'm going to put another idler there, and the reasoning behind that is whenever you're driving the belt, its natural state is to pull into a circle. Kind of centrifugal force pulls it outwards. So when you have this straight section here, whenever you clutch it and take the tension off the belt, that wants to fly out and hit the side of the chassis. So by putting a little roller halfway along like that there, it resists the urge to fly outwards and allows the belt to do what it should do, which is to come away from the actual the drive and driven pulleys. Use this this new base mount plate that we built back at the start, but refabricate this top piece. And okay, so we've got two brand new B section pulleys. There's the V one, and there's a flat one. So the flat one runs against the back of the V belt, and the V sits into that one. We'll set them in here somewhere. It'll be kind of like that. That's sexy. When the drive's engaged, the clutch is in this position here. So the belt runs down around the bottom, up and over the top of this pulley, and then back around the underside of this one here, and then on up to the final drive. And to disengage the drive, this clutch needs to open enough that the drive belt, I'll show you with this tape, can kind of pass right through the clutch. And what that means is the belt's as slack as it can be, so that it can freely slip over this one and that one there. So in order to do that, what we need to do is just take a little nick out of the chassis here. It's not a very wide chassis, so width is quite hard to come by with it. So really, it only needs to come through about 10 mil, but in order to do so, we have to take this notch out here, and then somewhere I have a little piece that we're going to put over the top. First, we're going to clean it up here and just make it all nice and pretty, and then then we start putting it back together again and hopefully get it out, possibly doing donuts in a driveway. Alright, so here it is, kind of sitting here looking all innocent like that there. Obviously, you know, from the outset, from what you can see here on the surface, it doesn't look that much different than it did you know, all them months ago. But really, you know, as you've seen from the video, most of the work is under the skin. So yeah, just kind of as an overview, I mean, the bodywork's more or less stayed the same. This is still to come, and this will be kind of, I got a real thing about Days of Thunder, like it's fucking awesome film, like, and I had to paint something like the Days of Thunder car, so this is gonna be it. So kind of, we'd held off paint and everything, so you can see there's a lot of bare metal and kind of, you know, rust, and just looks kind of ratty and and stuff like that there. It's because we were just gonna go, right, we'll go and we'll prove this thing out and then we'll paint it. One thing that we did notice pretty much immediately, actually, after sorting the engine out, the engine was giving us all kinds of problems. Like, I mean, the list of shit that went wrong with the engine since the race. Thank fuck it didn't happen during the race, but since the race, the amount of stuff that's happened with the engine has been stupid. Like,
I'm turning on the light down. There you go. Yeah, might need full breathing apparatus. You're doing that in the garage.
Just start up, let it run. It'll clear itself out.
But once we get the engine all sorted out, then we kind of realised kind of a major oversight with regards to the gearing. This lovely big kind of puddle of maths here. That's kind of all my calculations to do with the speed, and at the moment that's kind of what we're sitting at after gearing it down with what gears I had. The thing was, like, before it had them little small ass gears on them and the little A section belt. The thing was geared up so much. I'd actually geared it and I'd forgotten about that. I actually geared it up to hit 30 miles an hour at 3600 RPM. So I was so shit scared of blowing it up. Farting around in the driveway, I'm hitting 5000 RPM, and kind of to get it to gear it that high, it was causing more internal forces in the drivetrain that was causing the belts to slip. So I mean, there's no wonder the belts were as shredded as they were. But now that we've geared it down a bit further again, and we're gonna be gearing it. I've ordered some bits to gear it down further than that again. So I really essentially want to be hitting 40 miles an hour at 5000 RPM. With that extra pop, I mean, it should be pretty fucking formidable. From the small amount of seat time I've actually had with it, I do know it hooks a lot better kind of in corners. It feels a lot more balanced, and then now it'll have that pop out of the corners as well, so it should be quite a handful. We had it going the other night in the ice, in the dark, only for a short period of time because it is so fucking loud. Like, I don't like to piss the neighbours off that much. It sounds like the fucking Battle of Britain, actually. Like, it is that loud. But we took it out in the ice and instigated a slide, and it just felt nice. You know, it tipped in when it should have done and held a nice drift. So hopefully that is hopefully that's kind of indicative of how it'll behave on wet grass and stuff like that there. So yeah, I'm kind of excited about this for you. What the fuck else did I do this thing? Well, the fucking grips.
Does it not?
Holy fuck, where's he on this here? I was like, fuck, it goes round. I was like, yes, it's fucking drifting. It's doing a donut, and then I was like, no, it's going over slowly. It's got so much fucking grip, man.